podcast, where 4 of the OKS youth ministers talk about youth ministry. I am Michael Deese, and I am joined by Sam Welsh.
What's up?
And Jeremy and Hunter, whatever.
Hey, Sam finally made it, though.
Yeah, he did. He actually is here. He's in the studio, in the Hartselle Church of Christ studio.
Who is our biggest sponsor right now?
That's right.
Yeah.
They provide the studio.
Well, do you know who's not our biggest sponsor right now?
M2Y.
Lucas died with the M2Y Ministry Conference.
The Ministry Youth Conference. They're not our biggest sponsor.
So-
They could be.
No, they can't.
But they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
They won't.
Sam, to catch you up, we lost a big sponsor last week.
Big sponsorship. We lost. I like that we lost it.
You had it though?
Well, last year we did.
Yeah. Well, we got a free booth
I don't know if
last
we were
year,
supposed to
and then this
say
year
that
we
we
have to
had-
pay for ours.
But
I'm really far away.
I do want to say that we do recommend you go to the Ministry Youth Conference, whether they're a sponsor or not.
Hey,
It's a
we'll
really
be
good
there.
conference.
We'll have a booth. We're so excited about it. We do love Lucas and all the guys.
Think about how much we promote it. What if we were sponsored by them? How much more would we promote it?
I know. I mean, I would make a whole post about it.
No joke.
Yeah.
We might wear M2Y shirts for those that are watching on video.
Obviously, if those were given to us free.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, what'd you do last week?
I walked 63 miles
That's
last
awesome.
week. And you think, why would you walk 63 miles? Just to get on rides. Just to make it to rides.
Did you run? I'm curious. Did you run?
Did I run to the rides?
Yeah, well, there a
you
time?
you're not allowed to run in Disney. You're not supposed to run.
Okay, there we
Wait,
go.
can you clarify for the audience? Did you take your youth group to the Disney, or is it just your family?
My youth budget does not
He
afford
did take one kid in his youth
sending
group.
My youth budget does not afford sending our whole youth group to Disney like Michael's budget does.
Did.
But no, we did. We had a good family trip. I went with my wife and children and my mother and father-in-law, and we had an absolute blast. We went to what is it? Typhoon Lagoon.
The water park.
Not yet a sponsor, but who knows? Typhoon Lagoon. There is a tidal wave thing that like comes out of that, and it knocked me back. I'm gonna say 12 to 15 feet every time it hit me. Like it just destroyed me.
Like, were you standing?
Yeah, I was trying to like fight
And
it.
you just died?
I was just trying to fight it. I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can just stand here. Nope, can't. And then Elliot got hit by it, and it knocked her earring out. She lost an earring. It was pretty intense. Have you been to Typhoon Lagoon?
You know what else is intense?
Camping. So also we went to all the other parks, Universal, or not Universal. Can't say that. Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom. What are the other ones called?
Magic Kingdom.
That's one. Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Did y'all go downtown Disney?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Is that
what
another park?
Uh,
How could there be another park?
it's not another park, but it's like the big shopping place that's in downtown
Is that what they call it?
Disney. Yeah.
Is it in the park?
No.
No, I didn't go there.
It's right outside. Like, you know where you go in at Magic Kingdom?
Is that where the dinosaur restaurant is? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I don't remember
That's
that.
in Animal Kingdom.
No. It wasn't in a park.
Oh, it's at the resort. It's at the resort hotel.
I will say the Skyliner I loved.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
I loved riding that. My
does the Skyliner
mother-in-law
go through
despises the Skyliner.
Does the Skyliner go through Pop Century?
Yeah.
I thought it
Yeah, that and what's the Art of Animation? Those
Yeah.
two are connected to the Skyliner system.
See, that's why All Star Sports is so much cheaper than Pop Century.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Hunter? How was last week for you?
It was great. We had a Flint retreat at Maywood with our entire congregation. We had a good time with that.
Nice.
Brooklyn did a backflip off the swing. She did not win. She ended up getting a couple of boo-boos, so she was upset about that. But we had a great time. Good time.
That's awesome. Sam, how about you, man?
Dude, I'm just chilling. I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
Life is good, man.
I mean, we've invited you, I don't know how many times, to be on here.
Hey, tell me this. Do you love how your voice sounds through this thing?
I do not.
You sound so good.
I really hate
Smooth.
Oh, my
how
goodness. Keep
my
talking.
voice sounds.
Keep talking.
You might be right behind Coach Tapp on y'all's voices.
Yeah.
That's not true. He was incredible.
Hey, I taught a
He's so
class.
behind.
I taught a class last week sometime, and a lady said, "I just love your voice."
She lied.
Never in my life has anybody ever told me
she
that.
slept through that class.
Hey, speaking of teaching a class, to the beginning of my Disney trip, we literally left after we returned from Rush at Freed-Hardeman University.
Hey, Rush.
Two of the
How did
guys
that
at
go
this
for you?
table were big-time speakers at Rush.
Sam?
Nope, wasn't Sam.
Negative.
It wasn't me.
It was really good. I
Hunter and
think
Michael.
Rush went really well. What did y'all think about the one-day thing?
Not a fan.
Okay.
I don't know. They haven't sent out a survey yet.
I think
don't
they're calling people individually.
Well, they hadn't called me.
They
yet.
shouldn't call y'all.
Well, I always enjoy how it always has been. But my issue was you made it one day, you took away 2 sessions, but it was the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard multiple people say that.
Well,
But then they also did it after we already had to have booked Airbnbs.
That's
Yeah. So we
So we
that's
didn't
the
really
kicker.
have an option to cancel
Right.
it and go do something else.
Yeah.
That was really the problem. That the only problem that I saw. I thought it was fine. I do wish they had some sort of thing on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
At the school or just anywhere. You know.
We did though.
We did. That's right. And I would
Hey.
do it at like 8 or 8:30 because they did it last year and it was at 10. Or it was like I think it was like 9 or 9 to 10 or something, and we just couldn't do it. We were going to get back too late, and it just caused a lot of problems. But, anyways,
I was going to say Hunter did a great job with our sermon on Sunday morning. We had worship in the Commons with our 3 groups, and my kids really enjoyed that. I think that
mine too.
having our 3 groups together, it was a lot of fun. But Hunter did an awesome job with the sermon. So.
Yeah, man, Hunter's good. He does a good job. All right, so now that we're caught up, we haven't seen each other in a long time, and so actually last night was the first time I've seen some of you guys in weeks. And that was a lot of fun. And,
Area-wide.
the area-wide at North Highlands, it was great. I thought it was really good.
Great hot dogs. A little
the
chili
hot
on
dogs
top.
were so good.
But I want to throw Kate under the bus for a second. I highly doubt he listens to this. I texted him this past Wednesday, and I said, "Hey, what's the lineup for the area wide Sunday?" And he responds, "What area wide?" And I respond, haha, good joke, And he goes, "No, for real, what's going on?" So I sent him the screenshot of our order of the area wide, and he had it this coming up
Where he's
Sunday.
hosting?
He goes, "Oh, I better get on that." And to throw it,
Agreed.
But to throw it together since Wednesday,
It was great.
It went great.
Yeah. It
The
went
preacher
so
did
good.
great with your awful series,
Yes,
too.
he did. He really
I mean,
did.
to be finding out on Wednesday?
Hey, whenever Kanye West came up on the screen,
Oh, man.
all of Sam's kids looked over at me and were just losing their minds. It was it was awesome. Man,
Not
that
yet
was-
a sponsor, but
He
Kanye
probably will be.
Could be one day.
You never. I'll send him an email.
Okay,
I'll send him
cool.
an email. So yeah, maybe we'll get some free Yeezys out of it.
Can we have Sam introduce himself?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
We've talked about
Yeah,
Sam a
that's
lot,
right.
but some of our listeners might not know who Sam is. So Sam, tell us about yourself. Tell us where you work, what you do. I don't know, maybe the favorite person you work with, if you had to choose one that's not your wife now, and then your favorite color. Who knows?
It's a weird way to say that.
Yeah, that was. I don't know what to do with that. But I'm going to say I'm Sam Welsh, and I'm the youth minister at Beltline. I'm not even an okayest youth minister, but
He's better than that.
negative.
Yeah, he's much better.
But
than
I
that.
do get to learn from a lot of guys in our area, which I love a whole lot. I've been at Beltline for just over 4 years, and I've been in youth ministry for just over 9 years. And yeah,
And he can dunk a basketball.
I could dunk a basketball in college before my back and shoulder and knee and ankles went out.
Betrayed you?
Yeah.
Now, we want to know the favorite person you work with.
Can I plead the fifth?
You can. Yeah,
That's fine. Can we choose
The
one?
correct answer was Steve.
Becky, Lisa, and Beverly.
There we go.
Well
That's
played.
the right
That's who my
answer.
favorite is.
Well played.
Yeah, yeah. that's
Specifically,
great.
probably Becky. She's the one who.
Whoa, that was a bad
Okay,
choice
whoa,
there.
Whoa.
What I said was specifically Becky and Lisa and Beverly.
There
That
we
was the
go.
right answer.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites.
So I'm
specifically
curious.
those three.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh.
Charizard.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, classic Pokemon. Jeremy, what's your favorite Pokemon?
What's the dolphin one?
Okay.
looks like
Hunter.
a
What's your
dolphin.
favorite Pokemon?
It looks like a dolphin.
Probably Charizard as well.
Okay, yeah. He's the crowd favorite.
What's the dolphin one called?
It's something from the new gens. I have no idea.
the only one I know.
I've got kids now, and they're not old enough
Palafin.
to- Okay,
That's it.
Palafin.
That's in the deck that I play with Lincoln.
Oh, there we go.
That's my
That's
strong
why that's your
Palafin
favorite.
EX.
That's the one.
I have 4 of them.
I'm a big
Yeah,
Bulbasaur
you're
fan,
not
so.
wrong. That is correct. And on eBay, you can buy it for $3.95.
Yep,
You can buy what?
that card.
The
Palafin EX. Yeah. That's awesome.
Moving on.
Okay, well, this morning, now that we've kind of, introduced Sam and we had a good time, this is probably, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the most serious discussion that we've had.
That may be true.
We've been doing this for a year. We're just now getting serious.
Usually it's just, we had one whole episode where all we did was just hang out.
I talked to David from Maywood, that works with Maywood, last night at North Highlands, and he was like, "Yeah, I've listened to some of y'all's stuff." He said, "Yeah, y'all's is not more like a theology podcast. It's more like just like topical." And I was thinking, what you mean is not serious.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He gets it.
So I am, he gets it. That's right. So I'll kind of introduce this idea that Jeremy came up with, and I thought it was great. He sent it out to us, and we've kind of expanded on it a little bit, and decided that we wanted to have Sam in because Sam does a lot of work in this area. So anyways, this is an episode about confession, about wanting to, helping ministers find a safe place for confession. It is, for many people, we all know several people that have been in ministry and left ministry, or have been in ministry and were forced out of ministry. And we know people who are in ministry and don't confess anything to anybody because of the fear of being forced out of ministry or having to leave ministry. And so this topic is a serious topic that we do want to say here on the front end that it's something that use your own judgment when using the things that we talk about, because there are going to be times we'll share a couple stories at the top of this subject that kind of give some insight as to why this is a tough subject for ministers.
So I'll tell you, for me, I had a moment where this has been, this year will be 8 years ago. My dad passed away in November of 2017. And just to be honest with you, Michael knew me very well during that time. Hunter was around me, but didn't necessarily know some of this stuff, and Sam as much about me. But really, really hard loss for me. Really, really detrimental thing to my faith. I struggled big time. And, I was in a place of anger, resentment, apathy towards church, towards the work that I was doing in ministry. Just a real bad mental state, if that makes sense. But that being said, I was in my second year, I guess, at Coleman. And it wasn't like I could take a sabbatical and go mourn my dad. There was still ministry to do. There were still events coming. There were still camps. There were still kids that needed a quality youth minister pouring into their life. But I was pouring from an empty cup, and I was hurting, and I was angry, and I was resentful. I was frustrated with my leadership. I was frustrated, that I just felt alone in that place. And personally, I didn't really feel like that was something like I could respond and confess in front of the congregation, because I don't know if y'all have experienced this, but like when I have seen a minister or an elder, respond to an invitation, there's this taboo feeling of, oh, what did he do? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, has he cheated on his wife? Has, whatever, right? There's this awful moment where the congregation is in a little bit of panic mode because why does our minister need to go forward, right? So I didn't really deal with that in a good way, in a healthy way. What I did find is over time I started, and we'll talk about how we go through that. I started finding ways to find an outlet for those conversations. But I felt very lonely in that. What about you guys? Have you had a time maybe that you obviously you don't have to get into every detail of it on here, but a time where maybe you've seen this, you've experienced it, or a friend of yours has experienced that?
One specific time, it was when I was very young in ministry, and there was just some things that happened. It was just a lot of it was just inexperience on my end. Some of it was inexperience on the other end of things. And I was just kind of in a place where I was like, I just don't know if this is something I can do anymore. It took a really close friend to talk with me and kind of change my perspective. I was really being really selfish. Didn't realize it at the time. But after having that conversation, it was actually with Brandon Presnell. And when we had that conversation, it just kind of shifted the way that I see things, and ever since then, I've not thought even remotely the way that I did before that moment, because of those words were so, they were life changing. I was like, whoa, that's a different perspective that I haven't ever seen it from. And so, luckily I did have somebody he just saw me. We're at Laz Leaders and I was just walking through and he was like, whoa, something's up. What's going on? And I was like, oh, it's nothing. He was like, no, something's up. And so I talked with him. And so luckily I had that, that confession that I could share with him.
And also what awareness from someone, knowing you well enough to pay attention to something's wrong with your body language, your demeanor, something's different. That's really good on Brandon, and having guys in your life that see who you are and when you're not who you normally are.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Revival. Shout out Revival. Are they a sponsor yet?
They are. Yep.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah,
Revival. They're way better sponsor than M2Y right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let us, didn't they? They let us go for free.
Yeah. Nah, half price.
I think
price.
we
It was
supposed
half
to
price.
pay.
It was
I
half
said,
price.
"You're supposed
Yeah,
to
it
pay."
was half price. But he told Jeremy he could go for free because we had already paid.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
still paid half price.
Yeah.
You're just contributing to
I just went ahead and paid because even if they gave us a sponsor, I'm still paying because I think the work that they're doing.
But not at M2Y. If they give
is-
us a sponsorship for our booth, we would not pay.
No, I
That's
would.
right.
We would especially not pay them.
So we were at Revival a couple of years ago, and they brought in a speaker to talk about ministers and burnout, and he gave this 3-part lesson, and he gave a little questionnaire thing, and I found out that I was just checking off literally every box for burnout, which I think is something we may talk about in a few minutes.
Who was it?
Colton Shannon.
Oh yeah, he's
LBC over in
great.
Murfreesboro. Yeah, he's awesome.
Fun story. Justin, the preacher here,
Yeah.
and Colton are BFFs.
That's awesome.
Like,
Me and
lifelong.
Colton are also BFFs. I talk
Even
to him
better.
once a month in his office as my therapist. Anyway, so it's awesome. No, he's great. So I was just checking off every box of burnout.
Hey, wait! Before we continue,
Yeah.
we just keep interrupting you.
You're fine. It's okay.
Is it okay to call your therapist your friend?
I think it's okay if I call him my friend, but I don't think he would call me his friend.
Okay. He would
Okay.
say client.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the same
All right,
way my
conti-
youth group kids. They call me their friend, but I would never call
I would
him.
never.
Never.
He didn't call me a friend.
There's healthy
until
boundaries.
All the
there.
ones
Until
that
I
listen to this are like, what?
Yeah.
The day that I graduated, Jeremy was like, "Hey, you're my friend now."
Hey, but yeah, for real, have y'all experienced that with some of your students when they do graduate, get to college, and you start to become some of the barriers break down a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was at Revival Burnout, and come to find out through a lot of work and everything, man, I just had a lot of junk in my life that I hadn't taken care of, and it led to a lot of burnout and a lot of really negative stuff. And it wasn't until I found an outlet, a healthy outlet, in a lot of different ways to confess sin and find true repentance that I was able to really open up my mind and get rid of some of that burnout and become a way better father, husband, minister. So it's incredibly important to do this, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is. I mean, we're talking of biblical principle, right? This is not something just for the lay member of a congregation, but this is for all who are disciples of Christ. James 5:16 saying, "Therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of the righteous person is powerful in its effect." And so, this idea of having an outlet, a place to confess sin in a safe space, literally a place where you can do that and not feel like you're jeopardizing your job or your family or your relationship with someone in the church. That's a big challenge. So
Yeah. I do think, that verse that you just read is important to everybody. It doesn't just say people who are not ministers or people who are doing. I mean, this is, I think one of the best elders meetings that I've ever been in was an elders meeting. This was, I think it was when I was working in Muscle Shoals. we had an elders meeting, and one of the elders just said, "Hey, I messed up and I did something, and I just need you guys to know, and I'm going to work at making this better." It wasn't anything super serious or but it was a sin, and he was saying, and I thought that was really cool, especially with me and the other minister in the room and us talking through stuff, and he was just like, I just want y'all to know that, and that meant a lot to me.
Going further with that, the next passage we've got here is 1 John 1, that if we say that we don't have sin, we are deceiving ourselves and his truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and righteous to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we've not sinned, we make him a liar and his word is not in us. I think that we avoid confessional moments. We avoid moments where we express our sin, that kind of thing, often in ministry. Why do you think that ministers avoid confession?
Well, I think it's what you just read, this idea or this culture that the church has created over time that ministers are supposed to be flawless. We're supposed to be perfect. We're supposed to have our lives together. And that's why we're ministers, is because we're able to minister to other people. And I think all of us have realized within reality is everyone is imperfect. What we just read, for both, all have sinned. We're supposed to confess our sins. And it's just this culture, this expectation that leaders should be flawless is really pushing us away from that idea.
Yeah, and they use scripture to support that process, right? The whole thing of, we should be judging you extra strict, right?
Yeah.
Because of the James 3, James 3:1, not many of you should become teachers, my fellow believers, because you know that those who teach will be judged more strictly, okay? And so there's not just saying that they're not just judging us, but they're like, well, the Bible says we can't. So,
Well, it pushes that idea of being unqualified.
Yeah.
You're no longer fit to be this minister of this church because you have sin in your life.
Correct.
Or you're struggling with whatever it is in your life.
And I'm going to let people know it's important for us to understand and even just be willing to confess and admit we sin. War Eagle.
I do think that, it's important to note just how much this hurts the church. To have that culture, which is absolutely there, this hurts the church because when your leaders,
unsafe feeling.
Yes. Well, no, not only that, when they have sin in their life that they cannot get healing from, it festers. And so the guy in your pulpit, the guy leading your youth, they are broken within, and they're not being an effective leader because they have unrepented and unconfessed sin.
Right.
So whenever we don't have a culture where they can confess and take care of themselves as humans, man, it cripples the church.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that, you see it lead to, things like what you said, burnout, where they isolate themselves. When we hide sin, we put it away in a corner, and we never address it, it typically just grows and grows.
Well, and that emotional and spiritual breakdown, Jeremy, you kind of hinted at it with your story with your dad. You're leading in with an empty cup. Yeah. You're trying to be this youth minister and you're trying to fill all these kids' cup up. But when you're hurting, when you're empty, when you can't confess your sins, you're really not doing your job anyways. You're really hurting in that situation. And when we have this culture that Sam's talking about of not being able to confess and that leads to this burnout, that leads to this isolation, that leads to all these other things. It really hurts our ministry. It hurts the kids. It hurts the church. It hurts everyone involved.
I think, we oftentimes in church, we think of the confession moment at the end of the sermon, at the invitation song. Everybody come forward, sit on the front pew, talk to the preacher about what's going on, and we're going to pray over you. Well, that kind of gets misconstrued if the minister is the one responding at the invitation. And it creates, whether it should be that way or not, it creates gossip. It creates a culture of people talking about what happened, what did you do, and all this yang at lunch, and everybody leaves. So that's not probably the most healthy opportunity for confession for a minister, just to be honest. What would be maybe healthy models for confession, or for you guys? Where have been places that you've found that healthy place to seek confession or counsel?
One of the best things for me in my ministry journey, ever since I made the choice, I think I may want to be a minister, is that I have been blessed with some pretty incredible people. And John Morris, who he's not in ministry anymore, but he was, and he is one who I have always been able to talk to. Jeremy, since the day I started going to Hebron, he's been somebody that I've been able to talk to. He's helped me through a lot of things. And I mean, seriously, I've talked to both of you guys, Sam and Hunter, about things that are going on in my life that I'm struggling with, that I'm trying to do better at, things that, I just need somebody to talk to and vent to. Even, my mom and dad, I've talked with them about some stuff that's going on, and just making sure that you have those people that you can trust. One of my best friends who I would call probably weekly and just kind of talk through things was Jared Bailey, who, he died in 2022, and it was a horrible situation. But I really miss having him to talk with, because he always gave some really good wisdom and encouragement, and but having those people in your life that you can call up at any point, and that you can talk with, you can confess to, you can ask for prayers with, and it's it's a really, really great thing to surround yourself with people that you're comfortable with.
I can't remember if you said this at the beginning of what you just said, but was one of those, or have those ever been an elder, or how do you feel about that? Having that kind of dialogue with one of your active elders at the time. It's a hard thing.
The silence is deafening.
I would say
because it's a dangerous kind of risk at times.
Yeah. Well, the eldership where I'm at currently, I've talked with them about some stuff that's going on.
Sure.
Especially when I first started here, and I just kind of told them, hey, this is kind of where I'm at, and this is how I'm feeling. And it was crazy because all of them were just like super supportive, and were just like, hey, if there's anything at all that we can do, we want to help. We want to do something.
So the sad thing is that you were surprised by that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's not always the experience. And I'm not trying to drag our elderships through the mud on that. I'm just saying ministers are nervous about having those conversations with their elderships because of that fear of how am I going to be received.
Yeah, I hate going into the eldership and having to have a conversation. Like when they call me like, hey, we need to meet with you next Monday. I'm sitting here like, oh, what do I do now? And it's like, oh, I really haven't done anything. Why do I have this thought? But if I had an issue, something that I really need to take to our eldership, I don't see a world where they don't accept that and bring me in and help me out in those situations.
Yeah.
Do you do that on a group basis, or do you have an individual elder you would go to?
I would probably go to an individual elder first and then see if they felt like it needed to be a group thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the situation as well. But I also, similar to Michael, I've had some great mentors in my life. My preacher, Chris, is fantastic. I go to him for a lot of things. And it's ironic. When I first started, he was at church all the time, like in the office all the time. So I was able to really sit down nearly every single day and talk with him about whatever ministry related things are coming up. And that was a blessing. And now we're both a little bit more busy. We hardly see each other throughout the week outside of service. But it's one of those situations where now like I've reached out and I've made more friends or new connections, and those people I can go to and talk to. Something really cool. Sam and I have been friends for a handful of years now. But our first year, or I guess first time we met each other, was I was interning at Flint, he was interning at Beltline, and our relationship has grown through that.
That's when I met Sam.
But we've had a lot of times where we've been able to sit down and have great conversations and open up because of that one summer, and now we're working in the same town, and that's been a blessing as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that a few years ago, one of our elders, Barry Lamoureux, he's a friend of mine. At one time he was a sponsor of mine and Hunter's fishing team in the Decatur Work Camp fishing tournament.
We never won.
Duck River Bait Company, but
shout out to Duck River Bait Company.
I call it no longer a company, but Barry can still make some worms for you if you need it. But Barry, I called him and I said, "Hey man, listen, I need to talk to you about something, and I need you to take off your elder hat and be my friend Barry, not my elder Barry." Elderberry. And
your father smelled of elderberries.
And so I said, I need you to not be in that role, but be, not my supervisor, but my friend. And I had an opportunity at the time. Someone had approached me about buying a cabinetry door business. And those of you that know me know I'm a woodwork guy. I had the opportunity to buy at a good price a cabinetry business and, just build cabinet doors. But it would have necessitated that I step away from full-time ministry and get out of this role. And I talked to Barry about it, and the rest of my elders never had any idea that I had this opportunity or that I even considered it. because Barry and I had that conversation, and he helped me, gave me some wise counsel. He didn't discourage me from pursuing it, but he just kind of listened, gave me counsel, and then I decided not to pursue it, right? But having that kind of place where you can talk to one of those guys, and sometimes I have one or two of those, sometimes I have 3 or 4 of those. There's been times, not necessarily here at Coleman, but there's been times where I've not felt like I had that in an eldership, and that's a really hard place to feel like I can't go to one of these guys. I will say one of my places of confession is, and Sam may not know this, when Sam and I actually do get on a golf course together, that is like 18 holes of confessional time for me, where I can just, we just talk about ministry. We talk about what's frustrating us. It's a venting session. We did that about a year or so ago, a year or two. We went to Deer Run?
Deer Run, yeah.
Great course. And had a blast. Didn't play that great in golf, but man, I felt renewed as we left.
If I were to play 18 holes, I would need to have a confession time.
For the cussing? Yeah. But no, would you agree with that? That like, there's people who like, you're going to invite them to go do something because I need to talk to this guy about some stuff. I have a youth deacon that's fantastic. Patrick, I had a moment this week that I called Patrick, and I just kind of needed to vent about a frustration, right? And I knew Patrick could understand that frustration, and he's not going to go bash me to the elders about it. And he listened to me, he heard it, kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit, and then we went on about our day. But having those kind of places, it's so important.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think it's really important part of this conversation to know that these safe spaces of confession, I think, need to specifically be places where you can confess specific sin.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
I think like while we're talking now, we're using a lot of general terms for good reason on the podcast, but if you don't have a place where you can go and get kind of into the nitty gritty of what's going on, both of these scriptures is, if you are not walking in the light with confessed sin is not necessarily what puts you in darkness. It's unconfessed sin. When you can confess your sin one to another, that's when you receive the healing and you begin to walk in the light as he is in the light. So you need to find a safe enough space where you can get specific with the things that you're struggling with. If you don't, you won't find that healing, Yeah. And I know one place for me, one thing we're going to talk about, churches, elders, if you're listening, pay for your ministers to go to counseling, to a professional counselor. It's so worth it. You will see return on that tenfold. Yeah, that is the ultimate safe space. You can go and really just spill your guts out, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Confidentiality, and they're going to contain that information.
So there is power in one to another ministers and not that. But man, that's a really, really powerful space to just go and let it all hang loose.
Let it all hang loose.
Yeah.
I like how you phrased that.
Thanks.
That's good. But I do think it's important that we do what you said. We're trying to use general terms and stuff just for the sake of the podcast. We're trying to be very general. We may get a little more specific in a couple areas, but right now we're just being general. But when we say, find a good place where I can talk with Jeremy, this is like where I can say, hey, Jeremy, I have been doing this, and I need somebody to talk to about it, somebody to help me through it.
Accountability.
I need accountability in this area. Yeah, and it's not, hey, Jeremy, I'm just letting you know I've sinned and stuff today, so I need you to pray for me, and just move on. No, this is where we talk about it. He gives me wise counsel, and we discuss it on a very deep level and very specific level about things that are going on in our lives, and that's important.
There's something so healing about, and we've seen this at Maywood Camp. When a kid comes down there and writes down, a paragraph about what their sin is, right? There's something so healing to putting it down on paper and saying, this is exactly what I'm hurting from right now.
Yeah.
And having someone read that and care about you and pray for you, there's such a release of pain in that.
Yeah.
Sam highlighted something just a second ago. What would we say churches need to hear in this conversation? Because we know that everybody that listens to this is not necessarily working in full-time ministry. There's teens that listen to this. There's deacons, elders, there's parents. What do our churches need to hear about, how to help this matter?
So we've got a note here for those who don't. Can I peek behind the curtain here?
Yeah, we keep a little note.
There's some show notes here, that are really cool. But this note says congregations need to recognize that ministers are disciples first and leaders second. I would almost change that with one word. We're humans first.
Yeah.
We are just as broken as everybody else. And I think that churches need to, along with ministers, we all need to start making this shift to know that if we can understand that our leaders are also humans and open up some vulnerability in that area, you'd be so surprised how much healthier your ministry and your church will be, we're humans first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, I don't know what you call them, reels, memes, whatever, Instagram thing this week. And it was this guy, he's like looking like to the side, looking really surprised. And it says, when your minister starts doing normal human things. And he's like, what?
Yeah. Hey,
he's really offended by it.
We go to a Mexican restaurant almost every Sunday night with our friends, and we kind of hang out. Some of the youth group kids, have a good time. And it's a lot of fun. Food's delicious. And there's a waiter.
What's it called?
They're not a sponsor, so I won't say it.
Could be.
But we would go there, and there's a waiter and a waitress we saw one of them in, like, I think it was at Walmart, and my son, he's 4, and he was just like, that he's not where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He was just like, hold on, this isn't right, and so it's kind of funny when you run into somebody who you only see at a restaurant, and they're like, they're with their kids, and you're like, there's a whole Seinfeld episode about it.
Well, it's like when you see your teacher outside of school, you're like, you're not supposed to be here. Why are you not in your classroom?
Don't you live in that classroom?
And that happens to us sometimes too. The kids see us out and about, like, oh, hold on, what are you doing here? And it catches them off guard.
Yeah.
I've had one call me. It's like, it's like Saturday night at like 5:00. He's like, hey, are you at the church building? I'm like, no, man, I don't live there.
Was it Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah, Jackson called me too.
He's like, can I come by? And I was like, I'm not there, man. I'm out of town.
It was like a Saturday, I don't know, 4:00. And I was like, dude, I know I'm not at the church. I'm at home with my kids.
No, but that's a really good, deep point that y'all are making. Ministers have become human doings, not human beings. We're just expected to do all the time. And we're not able to just be.
That was good.
Thank you.
So would you say if elders were listening that you want to humanize your ministers and just make them more human, more of the congregation, that they are part of the congregation just as much as they are a minister of the church?
I would think so.
Well, I think we go so far at like the invitation to say things like, hey, this is a place where you can confess, and this is a place where you can seek forgiveness, and this, we want to pray for you, for the whole congregation. We make a space for grace. Like we make room for that. And I think we got to do that with our ministers in some way. And it may not be in that specific place. It might be a different, way that we make space for that, so that it's not as uncomfortable or taboo or gossiped about or whatever. But figuring out how do we do that to make space for our ministers to have those kind of moments.
I had a pretty cool experience growing up. I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen a minister respond to the invitation. But when I was growing up in my home congregation, I saw I think he was a song leader. He got up to lead the invitation song, and halfway through the song, he just came down and sat on the front row. And the church, obviously was smart enough to just keep the song going without the song leader up there. But to me, that was the coolest thing, to see somebody, I'm going to say within leadership. The song leader is not within leadership for a lot of situations. But to see somebody that is up there standing in front of people, to be able to step down and kind of see their sins, their flaws, and want to be heard at that situation. It was a really neat situation. And I mean, I don't think I was in middle school yet. And I still remember that.
Well, I'll be the first one to say, I went a long time without confessing sin. And I'm talking like 16 years, 17 years. And never told it to anybody, never say anything. And I'll tell you, the first time that I ever did, the first time that I ever said, this is something I needed, was Jeremy went forward at Hebron while he was my youth minister. I was a kid in the youth group, and he went forward, and I was like, what's he doing? And everybody was kind of like confused about it. And they all went, the youth group got up and went and sat down with him up on the front, and we just kind of sat there, and then I heard what he said, and I heard the confession he made, and that opened up a door for me where I could be like, whoa, even Jeremy, even my youth minister is struggling, and I need to be better, and so that really helped me see the human in him, in Jeremy, and even exponentially benefited my ministry and who I was and my Christian faith and everything, because this person that I looked up to, I thought was the coolest person in the whole wide world. Like
That's
all
right.
of our kids think about us, right? Yeah.
I don't think any of mine think that.
I really, in seeing him be vulnerable like that was huge for me. It made it possible. I think probably the next week I came to Jeremy and was like, hey, I need to talk to you about something, and so I wanted to make sure that was said. And that kind of goes back to what Sam was saying at the very beginning, was we've got to find a way for our ministers to be vulnerable to the church, I think, this whole judging them more harshly and all that stuff, that's fine. Whatever, just judge us harshly, that's fine. But you don't need to judge us in a way that's going to make our faith and our Christian walk worse. We would never do that to you. So anyways.
Yeah, I think this is a two-way street. It's going to start with somebody. If it doesn't start with the church offering the minister some of that, ministers, we need to just seek places where we can go. Because again, if we are not confessing sin and being the best purified Christian that we can be, we're obviously not going to be the best minister we can be. So we're doing a disservice to our kids in our youth ministry, to our parents, if we are not taking care of our sin problem.
Yeah.
So find a place, again, it's a two-way road. If they're not going to do it, just do it yourself and find a place to get that. And I think it's also obvious from what you just said, when Jeremy was vulnerable, it allowed you to become vulnerable as a student.
Yeah.
When you, in good, what's the word I'm looking for? Appropriate, healthy ways are vulnerable with your students. Dude,
Yeah.
We've all experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
They will come out of the woodwork, ready to come to you because they know, oh, he's a trusted space.
Yeah.
He's trusted me with some stuff. I can trust him with some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that, we've talked about this before. I think we're seeing that in our area, right? I've got kids that will go to all three of you guys and talk to you about things that they may not be comfortable right now talking with me about, because they've seen you be open and honest about that specific topic in your own life. You've got kids that have come to me and spoken with me about things that they are struggling with. And so I think there's a really healthy thing that's happening in our area right now with, all these teens. So, yeah.
I think when it goes to the teens opening up to you, I think it's a change of your language. And I don't mean like you're saying bad words and you change your language. The way that you phrase certain things in Bible classes, when you're talking about sins and people committing sins, it's not, hey, you guys are committing these sins. It's, hey, we've done this. We've experienced this. If we're talking about, whatever it is that they are dealing with in high school, we have also gone through high school. We have also experienced these sins. And it's not preaching at them, but it's preaching with them. That you're also preaching about yourself. I've always heard Chris say, he doesn't have social media or anything like that because he doesn't want to see somebody do something on social media and then the sermon Sunday feel like they're getting called out. He's preaching things that he needs to work on in his life. And if you're on that same level, then you're also in the same boat with him, kind of deal. And I've always enjoyed that as well. But just changing that language of, instead of pointing the fingers at your students or the people around you, you're pointing the fingers at yourself and them, saying, hey, we're all unworthy. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God. And I think it's realizing all of us have done that. We all need to confess our sins if we've all fallen short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this too. We're in a small group with several other youth group families. So I'm in a small group with, and we break up into men and women, and we have prayer time at the end of our small group. So I'm in a small group with several other dads with students in the youth group. And the last couple of Sundays, I have just opened up just a little bit when we have prayer time. Hey, Sam, what do you need to pray for? Well, I'm kind of struggling with this and this. Pretty vague. They responded with, wow, Sam, we love that our kid's youth minister is vulnerable with us and is, accepting when he needs help and seeking help when he needs help. And like, that's just really healthy. And we appreciate that. So I think that we need to maybe give our members and our church leadership a little bit of credit. They may be a lot more graceful than we expect them to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to lead to a lot of healthy relationships with those parents and in ministry. So it's awesome if you can find a way to make it happen.
I would say with what you just said, one of the things I've been trying to do is build a relationship with dads in our ministry and have like lunch or breakfast with as many dads, the kids in our group as I can, because it opens that door to being honest about who I am and they be honest about who they are and how they're struggling maybe as a dad or as a husband and how I am too, right? Having those kind of open conversations, it's super healthy for your ministry.
I know. I've got 2 guys that are here. I actually have 3 guys, but 2 of them I just interact with a little more just because naturally anyways. But there's 2 guys that, I feel like I could just talk to them about literally anything. And they've got kids in my youth group. I love these 2 guys. They're incredible. They do a tremendous job. And it's really cool, like what Jeremy's saying. It's just really cool to have somebody that I literally could text him right now and he would be at the church. And he would do whatever he needed. He would just skip work. He don't care, and he would do whatever it takes to make sure that I'm okay. And that's a cool thing to have. And it all comes from just being vulnerable, He reached out to me about something very specific, and I told him, hey, dude, I've been there, we've talked through it, and just a really, really great relationship that you can cultivate with parents of your teenagers, and that's going to help your ministry. That doesn't hurt you. That's going to help your ministry because those 2 dads are 2 of my biggest supporters and biggest helpers when I need somebody. Actually, one of them actually texted me last night. We went to the area wide, and we had a bus full of kids, and it would have been better if we just take 2 buses. It would have just been a lot easier to do it that way. And but we just didn't have another person there, and so I was like, okay, we're just going to all have, everybody's going to be on the same, and we're going to go. And he sent me a text, and he just said, he was just like, hey, just letting you know, if you ever need us for anything, we will drive a bus. Literally, we will do whatever you need us to do. And that's just a cool thing to have. So
yeah. Y'all passed us on the way home, and our kids were like,
Yeah,
how are you going to let
I was
Hartzell?
honking.
We're like, how are you going to let Hartzell pass you? I said, well, you know what? Hartzell didn't stop at the gas station and get y'all snacks either, so y'all need to be quiet.
I was honking. My kids were running, like had their arms out the windows, going nuts, and I was just like, we're better,
I had what you just said happen yesterday. I didn't say this earlier, but I think I'm in the process of a kidney stone moving currently.
Hey, how's that going?
And it's not great. And so, but it's okay right now. But yesterday, as we were having worship, we had worship at the park yesterday. It was really cool. Patrick, the guy I was talking about earlier, he goes, do you need me to go and drive the bus tonight? Like, do you need me to just take them? I was like, nah, I think I'll be okay by the end.
And he had been at church from 9 until
Oh,
2.
he got to the park at like 8:30 that morning. And he was like, do you want me to, and by the way, no offense, Kay, but it's a long way to North Highlands, right? It's 1 hour and 5 for us. And so Patrick was like, if you need me to, I'll be gone from 3:30 to 8:30 for you. Like having that kind of person to support what you're doing it's really cool. So I didn't end up having to have him do that, but I appreciate it. Hey, do you want to talk about this little note that you have at the end here?
I would love to.
Do it, man.
First off, I just want to say, man, you guys, thank y'all so much for listening, and I hope that this has helped you. If you need a safe space, you can reach out to us, and we can be that for you. oksyouthministry@gmail.com. We've got Facebook pages. You're probably friends with us. If you're not, send us an invite or whatever. Send us a message and let us know. One of my favorite people to talk to in this area of confession is Sam, and Sam's really good at this. That's why we brought him in to talk about this, because he is very encouraging and very good at helping you through the things that you're going through. And so reach out to him. I'm sure he would love to have a discussion with you and talk with you about it. Now, this is pretty awesome. We have been doing this podcast for almost a full calendar year.
Well done with the button.
Our live audience is going crazy.
Well done.
Live studio audience, by the way.
That's right. They're all piled in here. But
If you're watching our video version of this, you'll be able to see them at this point.
the video version
that we've never made.
Whoa. We do have one video.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did do one at
and
Exposure.
don't forget it.
Hey, I just looked. Last week's episode was episode 46. This is episode 47 right now.
Yeah.
That means we have consistently given you an episode almost every week. We've missed 4 weeks because next week will be 48.
Yeah.
So we've only missed 4 weeks out of a year.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
And it was all during the summer.
It was a lot better than I thought we would do. So it's great.
Yeah. And so I just want to say our next episode, as far as like when we started the podcast to where we are now, our first episode was published on October 15th of 2024. And so Wednesday will be October 15th, 2025.
Next Wednesday.
So not this Wednesday.
Not today.
I mean, not today. That's right, today.
Yeah, not today.
Not today. But next week will be our 1 year anniversary of starting this.
And
this
what
show.
better way to celebrate it than with a sponsorship from the M2Y Conference for our booth.
So anyways, thank you guys for listening. We hope that what we've been able to help your ministry. I really, it's a little bit tough to get all three of us in the same room on a consistent basis and all be able to do this. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of planning to be able to arrange that to where that works out. And I just want to say it really does me good. It does my heart good. It does everybody else in our show. At Rush, I had somebody that actually said, he was like, I've just got a lot going on. And he said, man, I'll be honest with you. And he said, I'm not just telling you this because, you're the guy on the show or whatever. But he said, I'll be honest with you. It feels really good to have three guys talk about youth ministry every week. And he said, every Wednesday I'll listen because he said, I don't have community where I'm working at right now. I don't have a place where I can talk to people. And he was like, and it's kind of like listening to three friends talk about something that I'm passionate about. And he said, so I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the show that you're doing. And he was like, every Wednesday I look forward to that show coming out. And as soon as it pops up on my feed, I've got it turned on. And so that's just a really cool thing for somebody to tell me. It made me feel good because the whole reason why me and Hunter even talked about this, me and Jeremy too, we talked about just we want to do this because we want to help people. And we have so much experience. We have so many resources and things that we want to share with the world that maybe you guys can use and do something with. And anything that we're able to do, we want to help. And so send us an email, reach out. Again, 1 full year that we've been doing this, almost 52 episodes. We're missing it by 4 weeks. Did you say
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
We'll have 48 in a year.
Yeah, so we're grateful for everybody that listens. Like and subscribe and leave a comment because that does help the algorithm, and share it with your friends and tell people about the show. And hopefully we'll continue on.
Also, we have made a handful of jokes about M2Y. We want you to go to M2Y. It is one of the best youth ministry conferences that there is to offer. We love M2Y. Of course, we love Revival and all the other ones as well. But M2Y is coming up here soon. Go ahead and get registered.
About a month away, right?
Yeah, they have a really good lineup for this year. It's back in Gatlinburg. I say back in Gatlinburg. It's in Pigeon Forge before, but it's in Gatlinburg this year. We're excited about that. We're going to get some pancakes. We will have a booth regardless. We will be there.
But in true confession form, we do want a sponsored vendor booth. So, I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
confessing that. We do wish we were
Either
sponsored.
way, we will have a booth there.
We will
either
be
way.
there.
Come say hey to us. We love hanging out. We love talking youth ministry. And we hope that your ministry is blessed.
Oh, you got it.
Winner, winner.
Should we let Sam into that?
Yeah,
After-
say, we hope
after
your ministry
Hunter?
is blessed. Just say it. We hope your ministry is blessed.
I don't think I should. I don't think I'm.
Do it. You got it.
Come on.
But like in your
Say it.
in your
No,
smooth
have
voice.
you seen Disney? We're like, hey, I'm so and so. You're watching Disney. You go.
And then you go.
I'm Sam Welch. I hope your ministry is blessed.
Yeah. 3.
I'm Sam Welsh, and I hope your ministry is blessed.
Thanks for joining us today in the important conversation of youth ministry. Go and follow us on Instagram and check out oksyouthministry.com for more information about our upcoming episodes. We'll be dropping a new episode every Wednesday morning, and we look forward to talking with you again next week. And hey, it's okay to be the OKS youth minister around, but let's all strive to be just a little bit better.